How about those Denver double overtime Nuggets? No, only overtime Nuggets, but still, oh my God, lads. Oh my God, what a game.
Double.
We're here to finally talk about it.
Double
Welcome
overtime.
back to Nuggets Europe. Brad, we've got Evan, and we've got Benjamin as well. Last but not least, lads, what a game last night. Let's dig into it. 140, 134, 132 after overtime. A crazy evening and a very hard evening if you're trying to watch the Oz game and the Nuggets game at once. It was heartbreaking at one point. Let's get everybody's opinion. Brad, let's just start with you, man. What a crazy night.
Yeah.
How do you sum it up in 60 seconds?
It was, very quickly. Didn't start off particularly well. Ended very well. A couple of bad calls kept them in the game when I thought we nailed it on. Overtime, just Jokic again, just dominated for my opinion. Great to see Murray back. 40 minutes with one leg. Unbelievable. Some good performances. Craig hitting 3-pointers, which is nice to see. Still not great from threes. Utah hit every three, it seemed like, at one point. Till hit fourth quarter, actually, which is quite funny. But it's a win, which is always good.
It wasn't too bad now. Evan, that news about Jamal Murray came out quite late yesterday in terms of Denver. How did you find last night's game? It was fantastic to see him back.
Oh yeah, of course. I think he's the one out of Murray, Harris, and Barton that have been missing. He's the one that you really want to see healthy and ready to go heading into the playoffs in a couple weeks here. So seeing him come out was great, and obviously he balled out. He hit those big shots in overtime in the fourth quarter. He really helped. Him and Jokic really helped carry the team. The only concern is after the game when Michael Malone said that he was supposed to be on like a 22-minute restriction, and then he pretty much doubled that. So that's a little concerning. But he's a gamer, he's a baller. He was going to play through it, and he helped us get the win. So can't complain there.
Yes, sir. It was definitely interesting to see. I think, you could see he was just gassed at the end, but at the same time, he done amazing. Benjamin, you must have been absolutely buzzing to watch that last night. Who is
frozen?
Yeah, frozen. He's frozen. Wow, I feel bad now. Let's remove him and let's put him in again and see if it works. Please God, let it work. Because this is being recorded. Anyway, I'm going to remove Benjamin, and if you can see us or hear us, we'll wave again. Guys, let's really quickly just let's just start because we spoke about it before we started recording. Halftime, like Nuggets Twitter was just fun, shall we say? Just to start with you, Brad. Like, what did you think of halftime? Because for me, like, I'm not going to lie, I thought it was going to be an uphill battle. Was it down to 14?
What was it, 14? Yeah, it kind of been far off that. But they had some big leads, Utah, in that, especially in the first quarter. I think they went out flying. I think they were 12 points in the lead straight off within a minute and a half. And I thought, here we go. It's going to be one of those games where we're just going to struggle the whole way through. But no, we came straight in. I don't know, it just completely changed in that third quarter and the fourth quarter especially. Just seemed to be a bit tighter on them as well. So.
Absolutely, and welcome back to the show, Benjamin. I don't know what happened there, man.
Yeah, sorry, I think that was on my end.
It's fine, don't worry, it's all good. Here, I think the thing we were asking was, obviously, you must have been buzzing last night, but at halftime, what were your thoughts? Because obviously down by like 14 points, it was just a crazy situation, and Twitter was nuts.
I just wanted to see Jokic just seem like he... Hard to say because you see so much on Twitter about people saying, Jokic doesn't look like he cares at the moment, and he's not looking like... I just want to see some more energy. And just a little bit more desire and drive from him, which because he's the catalyst, and everything starts with him. But having Jamal Murray back, how great was that? Just to have him back in the lineup it was just such a confidence boost as a fan, and then also must have spurred the guys on as well. Michael Malone, talk about a game of two halves, right? We say it all the time over here in the UK, like a game of two halves. It was just, we were a different team in the second half. We had more energy, we were focused on both ends, and it was a stressful game. I'm not going to sit here and say that I enjoyed the game all the way through. My heart rate was, I enjoyed a lot of it, but my heart rate was pretty high throughout. But yeah, what a game. I just Mitchell. it was just something else, right? It was just something else. You just think, oh, okay, we finally put them to bed, and then he hits another and another, and you just think this guy is not going to stop. But yeah, first half it was a painful one to watch, but second half just so much better. Both ends.
And your Twitter account, which is obviously linked there at Nuggets UK, is fun to look at from last night. Man, it's so good. It went from this is hard to watch to I've been watching NBA basketball for the best part of 17 years, and that is the worst call I've ever seen, hands down. And then boom, what is this game?
And it really was.
That call on Jamal Murray was
awful.
I mean, that game should have been over in regulation. We worked so hard to get back into that game, and we should have killed the game off there and then. Having said that, though, if they had put Jamal Murray at the line, I mean, how many times have we ever seen Jamal Murray miss 2 free throws back to back? I can't remember a time where I've seen Jamal Murray miss 2 free throws back to back, and obviously it happened in overtime. But man, yeah, what a roller coaster of emotions.
It was definitely a roller coaster of emotions. Now, Evan, just while I try and sort of bluffer this, because I want to put a screenshot up here really quickly. You obviously had a very good night last night. I'm presuming you're watching the Avs game as well at the same time last night.
Yeah, I watched it during like halftime of the Nuggets game. That was about it. But I was following it along. I only was watching the Nuggets though.
Evan seemed to have a very good night, lads, because like if you guys don't know, I live in the countryside and I can't even go out and get food, but this is probably the best tweet of the game last night. Brutal first quarter for the Nuggets. On a more positive note, this burger I ate was delicious. And I'm joking, but in all seriousness, your tweet, this is going to be peak Nug life. Man, last night at halftime, did you really think that they were going to come back?
Actually, I did, because we've got these guys.
Yeah.
And like Jokic is like
a great t-shirt.
Jokic is like the one guy in the league who can turn it on and off almost at will, and it's very obvious when he's not trying, and he was not trying in the first half. He had 2 points, taking a couple shots, 1 or 2 assists. Like, he wasn't doing anything. You knew he was going to come out. You knew Murray was going to come out and then spark everything. And like, yeah, I also hoped and assumed that Utah would cool down a bit on the 3-point line, and that happened. So that's all it took for Denver to get right back in it.
Yeah, and that's I sort of made a reference to the Avs game there, lads. Basically, last night at the same time, the Avs let one in to lose the game against Vegas, and literally within 5 seconds later, Utah took the game to overtime. It was actually so trying. Brad, go on ahead. I was
going to say, and it was offside, that goal from Vegas, which was very annoying. Hey-ho.
Yes, but I guess we can talk about this in Eurolounge during the week. I'm up for that. Absolutely,
give me a shout out. Yeah, absolutely, we can talk about it.
A bit of a crazy night for Denver sports in general, but guys, we can't go on another show without talking about. I mean, to be fair, at this point, MPJ should be sponsoring this show, to be honest. 23 points last night, 2 assists, 11 rebounds, 45 minutes from a guy that 2 games ago was almost in the abyss. Evan, start with you. He's just getting better and better, isn't he?
He is, and I think last night was a good example of how he can contribute when his shot isn't falling, because it wasn't falling like at all. And Malone had referenced a couple days ago how MPJ needs to like really focus on doing the other little things he can do. He's an excellent rebounder, so he did that. Yeah, he got quite a bit of his points just from putbacks and being in the right place at the right time. He's a great cutter. Jokic can find him almost at will. He's taller than everyone else, so he did a lot of the kind of scrappy work that is going to keep his spot in the rotation, help him keep that spot when his shot isn't falling, and that's kind of what happened tonight. But then, I was surprised just looking at the box score that he did have 23 points. That kind of because it wasn't like those other games where he was hitting everything and flashing around and all that. It was very quiet, 23 points, but he was very effective.
Very effective indeed. And Benjamin, like just going on that from MPJ, obviously the game going to overtime last night. Great practice for this team going into the playoffs now.
Oh yeah, it felt like a playoff game. It felt like, I mean, we all remember that 4 overtime game against Portland, and it really did have elements of that game last night. And I mean, yeah, what experience, especially for MPJ and guys who haven't been in that situation before. incredible experience, and only positives can come out of that, especially getting the win. Because that's going to be something that come playoff time, if we do get into another situation like that, they can fall back on. We've been here before. We've been in situations like this before. Okay, the pressure's ramped up a little bit. This is the playoffs. We need to get this win. But having that experience and knowing they can come through in situations like that, invaluable.
Absolutely. And there were so many clutch performances, especially in overtime. And I know Jokic stands out, but Brad, did anybody else, just while we round up this game, did anybody else stand out for you last night? Because I know there were a number of good performances, and it's just trying to maybe see who else stood out. And I think we have to give them the benefit of the doubt and maybe give them that pedestal to talk about now.
Yeah, do you know who's I've been really impressed with the last few games in the bubble has been Jeremy Grant. I think he's been exceptional. He doesn't get nearly enough credit for what he deserves. He's been absolutely exceptional. Hits 3 points, defends well, attacks well, hits rebounds, hits clutch threes when you need them. I'd say our 3-point shooting isn't the best. It hasn't been for a long time, but he seems to hit them when you need them. He's been a standout. I thought there's an interesting comment from Jamal Murray last night. He was saying that obviously he's come back from injury, and obviously MPJ has been doing what he's been doing. And he said he's going to get better himself to bring the chemistry together with him and MPJ, which I think is going to be important as we start heading into the proper games as they kick in and to get rid of this bubble bit.
And Evan, obviously Jeremy Grant was starting because Paul Millsap was inactive. Do you think, based upon his performance last night, because it was impressive, do you think even when Paul Millsap is active, he might get a little more time, maybe going down the stretch now?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Millsap, it's more of a situational thing. Millsap didn't do anything last night, and as a result, he only played 22 minutes, and Jeremy Grant had 47, I think. Based on that one game, Grant's younger, he's quicker. Millsap's looked a little rusty the last few days. He's rested one game. Like Brad was saying, I mean, Grant has been kind of one of the unsung heroes of the team during this bubble stretch. He's looked phenomenal.
Yeah, and obviously Millsap was inactive against Portland. I'm an idiot, and I'm stuck in Thursday night as much as I want to be, guys. But yeah, still great to see Jeremy Grant play. What about our fear? Well, he's turned into a mini hero now. Benjamin, just final word in the game. Dozier, I love the guy. I'm gonna buy a jersey this week.
I mean, he had a pass in that game. That blew my mind, and it was just he's doing things that are really impressing me now. And like I said on the previous show, been slightly critical of Dozier, but last 2 games he's coming into that position, into that role, in a circumstance where he has to run the team, that second unit, for times, and in those minutes where he's doing it, he's impressing. He's doing great stuff. I love the fact that he's a big point guard and he moves so well. But last night he was great. And just to follow on from that Millsap point as well. I just think there was a stat that really surprised me last night. That we're one of the worst defensive teams in the bubble, and that's not like us recently. I mean, I think recently our defense has been something that's been hindering us for years. We've always played the run and gun offense, especially under George Karl, and now coming back into this, we really did establish through players like Gary Harris and Paul Millsap a defensive. The NBA sees us now as a good defensive team, and we are. And what Millsap does, or what I feel like Millsap does, is he is such an anchor on that defensive end of the court that when Jokic is sometimes found to be wanting, Millsap is always there to help. And if Grant can do the same thing on the defensive end as Millsap, I think why not give him more minutes, especially if Millsap's not producing much on the offensive end. So Dozier, very impressed again. Grant, I completely concur with what everyone else has said. I thought he's been very special.
I think we could seriously talk, guys, about this game for the next 2 hours. It was that crazy. My heart is still gone. Hard to watch, but a great game for the neutral and for any fan, I guess. Hopefully the playoffs go like that, and and obviously the finals as well in September, October time. Say nothing,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Now look, it's obviously great watching the game at 8:30 on a Saturday night or 9:30 on a Saturday night, but the next two games are soul destroying in the sense that the first one Tuesday morning, Monday night in the States, 2 a.m. Put your hand up if you're going to watch that game live at 2 a.m. on Tuesday morning.
Good man.
Brad, put your hand up. Evan, come on, man. Yeah, good. Yeah.
Maybe.
I'll see if I can wake up for it, but yeah, I know.
Like really quickly, like I mean, we're not going to preview this next game, but just as well, obviously that game's live in Sky Sports Thursday morning, Wednesday night as well. You got the Clippers as well there, but just looking at the Lakers game, the Lakers have nothing to play for. So Brad, surely this is an all
good opportunity. Okay.
Yeah. But should they, like, I mean, after seeing Jamal Murray last night and how wrecked he was at the end, should he even be stepping foot on the court on Monday night?
He shouldn't be playing 40 minutes. I think he needs to play. I think they need to get that chemistry going for them three: Jokic, MPJ, and Jamal. I think they have to keep it, even if it's just a quick 5-6 minutes together. Just get them used to it, clear it out, get a bench. As I say, there's kind of enough. We can't finish. We're at home the whole way through now. Can't finish lower than fourth. I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be build a bit of chemistry. Rest of it, result. Yeah, it's going to be. Who cares? It is what it is.
I'll tell you what, Brad, if the Rockies win tonight, because they're 2-0 down at the minute, you have to watch that game live on Tuesday morning, all right? So we'll come back to that in a minute. Benjamin, I think that's interesting what Brad's saying there in regards to Jamal Murray. Obviously, it's going to be interesting to see if he does play any more than 5 or 10 minutes, but you got guys like, for example, I think Plumlee only played like 16 or 17 minutes last night, and so did PJ Dozier, and Bol barely, like, I don't think he played like what?
Nothing.
I was going to say one snap. He was on the court once for that time in it.
He came in to guard the inbound play.
Yeah.
But
my lads, my wife was watching the game last night, and I was here, this guy Bol, and she couldn't believe his wingspan. She was like shocked. The guy's an absolute beast. But Benjamin, surely, if any night's going to happen, it's got to be Bul's night on Monday night, yeah?
Well, you'd love to see it. You'd love to see him come in and match up against someone like Dwight Howard, or see what he can do. I think the Lakers' last game was last night. I think they did play the LeBron played and Anthony Davis played. They rested LeBron the game prior to that. What they're going to do, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, like Brad said to follow on, we can't play Jamal Murray 40 minutes. But I do agree. I think that getting that chemistry, especially without Gary Harris and Will Barton, especially Gary for me, because it's like, I think if Gary Harris played last night, we would have seen a lot less from Donovan Mitchell. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from his performance. He was very special last night. And I was actually surprised that he only finished up with, 35 points. I thought he would have had more than that. It just felt like he had more than that. I don't think his percentages were actually that great, but he hit them when they mattered. And I think with Gary on the floor, I think his confidence isn't as high. I mean, Gary Harris is an incredible defender, on-ball defender. So yeah, I think. Sorry, gone a bit off topic there, but going back to your Lakers point, that getting that cohesion together between the team is going to be so important. So yeah, I think Jamal Murray does need to see the floor, and I think he'll want to see the floor as well. I mean, you could see his energy last night. He was gassed towards the end, but he still didn't stop putting in 100% of what he had in the tank. So yeah, I'd like to see him play, and I'd like to see Bol play as well. Of course, I love seeing Bol play. It's just, someone of that size, someone of, and he can shoot the three as well. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Evan, couple of things, man. You very briefly put your hand up there when you said you're going to watch the game live. I know it's late, but like for you, like it's only like 7 o'clock Mountain, so it's easy for you, even though you're in London. Man, Evan, let's just say this: the Lakers have been not great, especially in the last 3 games. Obviously, Benjamin said there they rested LeBron for one of them. It could be argued that they're not anywhere near the form they were pre-Corona. Surely this is a smash and grab opportunity, and the Nuggets should win by about 30 points. No, I'm joking.
This one's tough because this game doesn't matter, and the Lakers know that. you ask any Lakers fan, and they're going to say they're not like no one in LA worries about Denver, which that could be fair. So it wouldn't surprise me if they continued to rest, but also they like you were saying, they haven't looked really up to form either. So they might want to use these minutes to try and get some cohesion of their own. The whole LeBron AD thing hasn't worked out so far in the bubble as much as they might have liked to. So yeah, in that regard, I think it'll be a good game, but it also, knowing that these are two really good playoff teams, that there's a legit chance they'd see each other down the road. I can't really imagine any team trying to really show a lot of their hand. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant on watching things. Like, I don't know if they come out and say, "Oh, AD and LeBron is resting," I'm probably not going to watch.
Oh, to be honest, it's hard. I think it's something we said before, lads. Obviously, the game's on at midnight or even 1 o'clock. You can go, yeah,
2.
Okay,
Yeah.
Watch the first half, or
Yeah.
maybe watch the whole thing. But 2 o'clock in the morning, Jesus! I mean, you would almost rather it started at like 3:30 in the morning. At least you could go to bed early and get up, and then go about the rest of your day. Or if you're me and you can see the bags under my eyes, just sleep all day.
How do you guys do that? Do you usually just stay up until then, or like,
sleep and wake
or
up.
do you try and take a nap earlier in the day or whatever?
I go to bed early and wake up.
Depends
See,
for me.
Benjamin, you've got but you've got a different sort of experience, because me and Brad we're obviously Broncos fans as well, but Benjamin, you probably got a different experience because a lot of those Nuggets games do start quite late. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, it depends for me. I remember the game 7 against San Antonio was a late one, and I was in France as well. So while that game was going on, so I had an extra kind of. And what happens is I always say to myself, "Yeah, I'm going to go to sleep early, and I'm going to wake up if it's a 3:30, even if it's a 2 a.m. Or a 3 a.m. I'm going to go to sleep. I'll wake up, and then I can't sleep. There's no way I can sleep, especially in a playoff game, because my heart is going, and I'm just thinking, "Oh, what are we going to do? Are we going to come out? Are we going to start? We're going to come out firing from the start? Are we going to?" There's all these thoughts going through my head, and then I'm lying there, I'm wide awake, and I just think, "There's no point. There's no point even trying, because I know there's no way I'm going to go to sleep." So, there have been times if it's a non-playoff game, and let's say I had to get up for work at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'd just say, okay, well, if it's a 3:30, I'll go to bed a bit earlier, and I've managed to do that before. But if it's a playoff game, it's a different situation for me. I just can't sleep.
I'm not sure what Brad's one would be, but an example, Evan, and anybody watching this in Colorado, was this the week 1 Broncos game. If the season actually happens, no one's talking about that, and I can say it in this podcast because it's not an NFL one. Anyway, if it happens, Monday Night Football, 3:20, Brad, in the morning for us? I don't know, Evan. I go to bed at like same as what Benjamin says. I get the duvet downstairs. I try and sleep at about 10 o'clock, and I wake up at about 3 o'clock. But it's the same as you said, man. Like if you're there, you'd be outside the stadium drinking, or you're getting all buzzing. Here we go, start of the season. Brad, I say you're the exact same, man.
I normally book the Tuesday off.
Oh.
So I don't have to worry about it. So it's my easier way. So
Nice.
yeah, depends on what period of the season it is. But yeah, like some of the hockey games are just ridiculous. So I tend to.
Oh yes, it's a non-starter.
I tend to just watch them the next morning. So put it on the iPad while I'm working and just watch it willy-nilly. So. But yeah, see as that.
Well, Evan, I'll tell you what, you buy the burgers and we'll go live at 2 o'clock in the morning on Monday night or Tuesday morning, yeah?
It'll be cold by then, but yeah.
Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. Obviously, I wasn't really expecting much to actually talk about in regards to this Jazz game, because I thought I didn't think it was going to be a non-event, but I didn't think it would be such a good game and such a good finish. So it's been great to chat to you. Let's do it again. Let's do it after the Lakers game. Maybe see what happens. I know we've got a couple of guests coming on this week as well, so let's see what happens. Maybe somebody can reach out and get like Michael Malone on or something, guys. Or I don't know. Let's get him on. Let's do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's give it a crack.
Yeah. So obviously Lakers Tuesday morning, Clippers Thursday morning, and before we recorded, we were praying to God that Raptors game on Friday might be in the evening. But one would suggest, gentlemen, it might be late, because that is... Anyway, look, let's just hope and see. I'm sure we'll know tomorrow or the next day as well. But let's hope 9 9 UK, 4 Eastern. And we'll say no more. Guys, until next time. See you.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Take care.